Before we go on, I just want to say, voting is your choice.
Well, voting is compulsory in Australia, but how you vote is your choice.
We're here to answer some questions from people who might be confused about how our voting system works and who want to know how they can make their vote count on climate at this crucial election.
We'll start with the basics. When you go to the voting booth, you'll get two ballots. The green ballot is for the House of Representatives, aka the lower house. This is where government is formed.
And the big white paper is for the Senate, aka the upper house, also known as the House of Review, because all the bills introduced by the House of Reps have to be approved by the Senate before they become law. So your Senate vote is just as important. And yes, it's a big piece of paper, but don't let that freak you out. It's actually pretty simple.
Let's look at the green ballot first. The idea with preferential voting is that you put a 1 next to the candidate you'd most like to represent you in the House of Reps. Then you must number the rest of the boxes in order of preference. So you put the person you like most first and the one you like least last.
It's a great system because if your first choice doesn't get enough first preference votes to win the seat, your second choice will be counted in full.
And if your second choice doesn't get enough votes to win, your third choice is counted.
And so on until someone gets a clear majority and wins that seat.
But remember, for your vote to count, you have to number all the boxes on this ballot.
Okay, let's look at the Senate ballot paper now. Here you follow exactly the same process we saw with the green ballot paper. The only difference is that here the boxes are lined up horizontally like this, instead of vertically, like in the green ballot paper. And unlike in the green ballot paper, you don't have to number all the boxes. Thank God, because there's a lot of them. You just have to number at least 6 of them above this black line.
Alternatively, you can vote below the line, but to keep it simple, we're not going to get into that here.
But if you want to keep your Senate voting experience simple, just vote above the line and be sure to number at least 6 boxes. And that's basically all there is to it. Okay, at this point, we want to address a question that often springs up.
Can a party choose where your preferences go?
The short answer to this is
no.
And the long answer is
not at all.
Parties don't choose your preferences. You do.
Only you decide where your preference goes, and you do that by following the process we just described, of choosing the order in which your preferences are counted.
Okay, so a hung parliament is what happens when an election ends up with no single party winning enough seats in the House of Reps to form government on their own. This means the major parties then have to negotiate with the crossbench MPs to form government. And that's why it's so important that those crossbench MPs are the not shit ones you elected, so that they'll have a seat at the table of those negotiations.
The one thing we'd like to remind people of is that we have a pretty great preferential voting system where you can make your climate vote truly count if you know how to use it.
People in the US and UK wish they had our preferential system of voting, so the least we can do here in Australia is know how it works.